Hello and welcome back to Solid. My name is Jake. Thank you guys very much for joining me today, Friday, April 4th. We got a bird's eye preview for the Battlehawks Week 2 game. It's at home on Sunday at 5:30. It'll be good. There's a little bit of a rematch. They're playing the San Antonio Brahmas. I say rematch. They're just another team that's in the division or the conference, whatever the hell you want to call it. They played them in the what's it called? The XFL championship last year with AJ McCarron, who had a jacked up leg, and I think the Battlehawks lost like 25-6 or something like that. It was real pathetic. But two new teams, two new quarterbacks, same head coaches, still the same Brahmas, old curmudgeon-y dipshit Wade Phillips over there. Thinks he's better than everybody, even though he's just an old bag of shit. 77 years old, retire, you old piece of shit. Don't like him. Once a cowboy, always a cowboy. I'll say that forever. Don't like Wade Phillips. But that's their head coach. They just lost to who the hell was it? I just watched it. It was the Arlington Renegades. What was the final score of that game? 33-9. They got their dick stripped out. And man, I think that this game's really gonna be more of like a litmus test for the Battlehawks. Battlehawks had like a week last week where they got to play just a really just absolutely terrible Houston team. And then they beat the shit out of them like they should. I think that the Brahmas are a better team. They had a bad game. There's a few reasons that went into that. But man, I think I'm trying to think of a good spot to. I want to start with the Brahmas. I guess the best place to start is with their quarterback Kellen Mond. He's not. I think the word is he's just not very good. When you're watching him, I don't want to say is my biggest takeaway, but the most apparent thing about Kellen Mond is that when he has the ball, he looks like an actor who is trying to be a quarterback. Like that's how he runs with the ball. I don't know I don't know why this is the first actor thing that came to my mind. There's a lot better movies with football players or about football. But for some reason my mind goes to like American Pie Band Camp. That's where, not a horny play, that's just where it goes to, and the main character or whatever, I think it's like a Stifler brother, cousin, I don't know which one it is a quarterback, and he's like throwing the ball a few times in that, and like he looks like a jamoke, and that's kind of what Kellen Mond looks like. Kellen Mond, if you, I mean, he was in college football for a long time. He's with Texas A&M from like 2017 to 2020. I don't know what the hell he's been doing since then. I don't really care, so I'm not going to look it up. But I don't know. He did a lot of like the dumping off and stuff like that. Just like little check down throws. And when he threw it, man, it didn't, like, he throws a good looking ball from his delivery. Again, his delivery and the way that he carries the ball is very bizarre. Like when you watch that game, you're gonna be like, man, Jake was right. He looks like a caricature. But the ball's in the air, it looks good. They're typically like not great thrown balls. The best ball that he throws is when he's throwing a corner out to the left sideline. And he going into that game, I was like, okay, because I watched it kind of when it was on, like when it actually like was playing, but I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it. And he still has that wide receiver Jontre Kirkland, who was like the led in like receptions, I think, in the UFL last year. He targeted Jontre Kirkland the most, but the more yards came off of Jacob Harris, which is one of their new wide receivers, who a big tall guy. Let's see how tall Jacob Harris is real quick. Jacob Harris starts with a J. He's 6'5", 219. He's a big dude. And he was the one that what's his dick that Kellen Mond was targeting a lot on those corner routes, and it kind of works. Jacob Harris is he's for a guy who's 6'5", kind of had in the UFL kind of had like a surprising amount of like body control when he was catching the ball. There was one specific one he ended up pushing off the guy, so it was an offensive pass interference. But he pushed off the guy and then was still able to get his body around on a back shoulder throw. Which it was like, it's aside from the like him assaulting a guy was pretty. It was just like, oh, that's a good catch. It didn't matter, but good for him. But going back to Kellen Mond, I think that he kind of does it poorly, but he kind of does what I would kind of want Manny Wilkins to do, where he kind of scrambles out and then resets his feet. Except when Kellen Mond resets his feet, he takes, like, you play a game of Risk in the amount of time it takes for him to reset his feet. But he'll stick in the pocket. He's a fearless dude. Which I mean, to a detriment. I mean, he'll. How many times did he get sacked in that game? Let's see if I can pull this up real quick. Probably should have noted that. He only got sacked twice. But I mean, he gets hit a lot. He gets drilled a lot. So I think that the Battlehawks should be able to kind of tee off on him. I do want to go and pull up while I'm thinking about it. This isn't a Kellen Mond specific thing, but this seems like this is important to bring up right off the bat. As far as the guys that they are going to be missing, I'm not entirely sure how many of them are on their offense. This is just the Thursday injury report. But Derek Kelly, no, he practiced in full. Offensive lineman. John Lovett. Let's see if I can pull up that actual John Lovett is the running back. He was the running back last year. He did not practice with a hamstring on Thursday. I don't have the Friday one in front of me. But yeah, it looks like he's going to be like the Brahmas really only like missing piece. As far as Battlehawks go, the Battlehawks are going to be missing Chris Garrett and Hakeem Butler, which is kind of a shitty thing. But going back to the fucking Brahmas, whatever their name is, let's see if John Lovett is going to play. I'm just saying this for myself right now. John Lovett is not going to play. They only have 2 running backs. So anyway, going back to Kellen Mond, he took some really he took one of the 2 sacks that he had on him was a 17-yarder. It happened right at the beginning of the game. Again, week 1 for them too. So who knows if that's something that's kind of sticky. I mean, we know that this team can be better. I mean, with a new quarterback and everything like that, it's like, who really knows? Looks like an actor. He doesn't have a lot of confidence. I mean, it's hard to find a quarterback in the UFL, I believe, besides Luis Perez, that's really going to be able to kind of hammer home like the middle of the field. Kellen Mond did not do that a lot. Doesn't really have confidence in that throw. And yeah, really his only good throws are on the left sideline. I think that he's going to test the cornerbacks a decent amount. But I mean, it's tough because the Arlington defense, I mean, just beat the shit out of that team. Their offensive line is like, it's okay. Again, they were letting guys get through, but I say letting them get through. They were getting beaten, but they were able to hold up long enough for Kellen Mond to get the ball out. His stats in that first game, again, was they did get beat up, but he was 17 for 31, only 159 passing yards. That's 135 minus the when you take the sack yardage out. He had a 54.8 completion percentage. It's like, I don't know. He's not like a threat. I mean, he scooted with his legs a handful of times, but he's like not like a super athlete or anything like that. It's I don't know. He's not frightening. He's not frightening. I mean, the thing that I would assume would be better about this Brahmas team is their defense, because they're returning more guys on defense than they are on offense. But their defense, I mean, let up freaking 33 points. So who the hell really knows? I think that Arlington, they clearly, well, I'll get to that whenever I get to the defense. But yeah, Kellen Mond, he's not a good quarterback, and it kind of shows with his lack of confidence, and he takes a while to get the ball out, and he gets hit a lot. So that's my take on Kellen Mond. He's fine, not even fine. He's just like not very good. And then I brought this up. I can't remember if I brought this up in the re-auction or the recop. I am kind of changing my worldview in this league to being like, yeah, a pocket passer is a pretty thing, And it's nice. Like what AJ McCarron did is a pretty thing, but being able to have a quarterback who can escape and get first downs on his legs, I think that's a turns out that's pretty important in this league. And Kellen Mond just does not have that in his bag. He's not near as much of a threat with his legs as a lot of the other quarterbacks that we have seen are. Going into their wide receivers, like I mentioned, Jacob Harris, big guy, good. He had 63. He had 4 catches for 63 yards. He's the guy that they go to for the shots downfield. It seems like, at least that's what they just did against Arlington. Arlington really had their number though. Again, Jontre Kirkland, like I said, possession kind of guy. 4 catches for 39 yards. But my favorite wide receiver on their team is Greg Ward. I should have pulled this up. Greg Ward was an Eagle for, was it like 2018 to 2021, I believe is what it was. He was at the Eagles. Okay, no, I guess he played in the USFL, but from 2018 to 2020 to 2023. Actually, he was on the practice squad in 2023. So he was on the practice squad for the Eagles in 2017. So he has a Super Bowl winning wide receiver, Greg Ward. That's what we're talking about here. I'm impartial to him in the NFL with the Eagles. Dude had 11 touchdowns. That was one thing that I always said about Greg Ward is this guy he catches touchdowns. Like if it ain't a touchdown, Greg Ward ain't gonna catch it. Which I mean he obviously does, but for the most part, it's like holy shit, Greg Ward touchdown baby. So I do like Greg Ward a lot. I brought up. I mean that's really the weapons that they have in the passing game. It's nothing like super spectacular. I think Greg Ward is probably better than Jontre Kirkland and Jacob Harris. They got that guy Marquez Stevenson. He's more of a kick returner, a punt returner than he is a good wide receiver. But I don't know. I think that you get this defensive line to be able to kind of take over the game and live in the backfield and just attack Kellen Mond early. I think that it's just going to rattle him. I think that's one big takeaway for this game is that the offense needs to be able to score twice in a row, and I think that'll just absolutely fuck the Brahmas like mindset and make Kellen Mond make some bad decisions and stuff like that. Their running backs, like I said, they had John Lovett, but he's not playing. Kellen Mond, when I'm talking about the rush, I'm looking at the rushing yards right now. Kellen Mond had 3 carries for 19 yards. His long was 15, so it's like he just had kind of one big breakaway, but I don't know. He's not exactly looking to run either. But Anthony McFarland is the one that I'm more worried about. I wouldn't necessarily. He's a guy, he'll go down on first contact, and if you can get. He takes a second to decide what he's going to do and where he's going to go when he's behind the line of scrimmage. The problem is that once he does start getting north and south, homeboy's quick. Like dude can scoot. He was the guy that they had last year. He was injured for a lot of last year, if I recall correctly. But he's a scooter. He's a quick guy. So Anthony McFarland, I think the important thing there is, and the defensive line did a really good job with this last week is just really just kind of blowing things up and stopping the run. And then they have this other guy who's going to be their RB2 without John Lovett, Jashaun, Jashaun, Jashaun Corbin had 6 carries for 36 yards. His long was a 21. So, I mean, more than half of them yards came off of one run. So, I mean, it's just like not a threatening offense, which is kind of where it was last year. I mean, it's not super threatening, but their defense really won them games and got takeaways and that kind of stuff. But their defense just kind of shat the bed last weekend. So I don't know. I'm not entirely threatened by their offense. I don't think that they have a whole lot going on. Was there any other notes that I had on them? I don't believe so. Again, just one game. I would like to be able to have more of a sample size before I kind of do bigger takeaways and stuff like that. Again, I think that this is going to be the week where we see things kind of stick. If Brahmas get their dicks ripped off again by this Battlehawks team, it's like, okay, they are kind of shit. And if the Battlehawks can rip off another team's dick, it's like, this is a dick-ripping team right here, and that's what you want. But we'll see. I can't imagine that this game is as much of a blowout this week as it was last week. I think both teams are. I think the Eagles, I don't think that they're going to rush for 273 yards again and really just take over the game that way, both time-wise, like time of possession-wise and score-wise. But I don't know. I didn't see a whole lot of stuff out of the Brahmas to make me believe in them. They're an incredibly undisciplined team. In that week 1 game, both teams, the Brahmas and the Renegades, they both had 11 penalties, which is psychotic. Let me see if I can actually get the penalty yardage for that. PENAL. Yeah, so the San Antonio had 11 penalties for 94 yards. And Arlington had 11 for 70 yards. And when I look at something like that, I'm like, were those, like, if you just look at those numbers, you're like, man, those refs really like throwing the flag. But then you watch the game, and it's like, these were some pretty fucking gnarly penalties, dude. Like, just holding, jumping off sides, that offensive pass interference, like I said, which is very clear. Face masks, man, it's a very undisciplined team, which I believe that's where the Brahmas were last year, too. Just like fuck the rules, man, we're going to play. And it's like, well, actually, you should probably pay attention to him a little bit. But yeah, as far as Brahma's offense goes, man, it's nothing special. Like, they didn't do anything good. On the flip side, man, the game was pretty much out of hand. Really, I don't want to say from the get-go, but once they didn't start hot, and then once they were behind, like I said, man, Kellen Mond threw the ball 31 times. It's like they were just trying to throw the ball. And it just was not working. He got, of those 31 passes, I will say this, of those 31 passes, seven of them were broken up, whether it be a tip at the line or by cornerback. So it's not like he's throwing necessarily a pretty ball. Obviously there's skill when it comes to a defensive line being able to deflect passes and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just like it's got to go better for him. Right, like just like it's got to go better for Houston this weekend as well. Like it couldn't go as bad as it did. As far as the Brahmas defense goes, took a lot of notes on this. So they first thing first is that one of their corners is a pipsqueak, very much a pipsqueak, and it would be cool if Hakeem Butler was in this game. That way he'd be able to pick on this guy. Darius Phillips is 5'9", 188 pounds, and it looks like it. Like that's normal guy size. Like that's just a normal. He just looks like a normal size guy out there. He looks like a pipsqueak. And he got taken advantage of. He was getting thrown around, blocked off the ball. I think some outside runs going his way are going to be able to work well. And it seemed like the Battlehawks were able to get those out. Maybe not. I guess it was the runs in between the tackles were the ones that were doing well, but they were very eager to try to pepper the outsides. I think if they go to that right side and try to attack that cornerback, I think that they're going to have some success there. And then the other quarterback that they have, because Greedy Williams is out. So it is this other cat, Chris Steele. And Chris Steele is, I just looked up his thing. Chris Steele is 6 foot 195. So he's a bigger guy, but he's not like a big long corner. He's not like a 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", 195 or something like that. But he was the backup to Greedy Williams, and Greedy Williams is not a good cornerback. I remember watching him during Eagles, like the training camps and then preseason games and stuff like that. With the Browns, it's like this guy's not very good. But Greedy Williams was above Chris Steele on the depth chart, and now that Greedy Williams is out, it's going to be Chris Steele, bigger guy who's a little bit less talented. I don't know. I'm simply just going to attack the right side. Obviously, you can't do that every single time, but when push comes to shove the little guy. That's my take there. Their defensive line, they earlier on in the game, Arlington's offensive line they were manning them up pretty good. Like the offensive line was getting some good shove on this defensive line. Then they started rotating them, so guys that are, I believe, a little bit deeper on their depth chart, like this guy number 92, Rashard Lawrence. I think that I guess he was like third on their in their rotation, but in one game he jumped up to the top spot on their depth chart. But he's a big physical guy. I still believe in this Battlehawks offensive line. I don't think they're going to be able to get the kind of chonko yards and big push that they had against Houston. But I mean, I think that it'll still be there. But yeah, number 2, Rashard Lawrence is a guy that I would look out for. He's got some kind of like a blow. He's got I don't want to say game changing, but he's got drive ruining potential. Like if you're looking at it like you want to try to pull a change up on a 2nd and 8 and run the ball, this is the kind of guy that'll be able to shut you down and make you forced to throw the ball and turn it into like a 3rd and 7 or something like that and make you forced to throw the ball. So I think that I liked what I saw to him. He's very big, very physical, and hit hard too. He's slamming people. Other than that, again, their defensive line was kind of getting manhandled, and I think if this running game kind of leans on them, I think that they'll end up breaking too. But that's just how running games go. You beat the shit out of a team, and then in the fourth quarter, you get Jarvie and Howard 74-yard run. That's kind of the way they are pretty aggressive too. They do come downfield quite a bit. So I think that those trap and wham blocks that I was talking about, probably less so the wham, but the traps, will be able to. I think that the Battlehawks will be able to get a couple of those that'll break for pretty big. Their edge rushers were big and looping. They like the angles that they took. They did stunt a handful of times. And the stunts were pretty effective against Luis Perez, who is notably not like a very mobile guy. He's just a wheeler and dealer, really. Not even a wheeler. He's just a dealer. He did have one kind of scramble for like 20 yards or some shit like that. Let's see how much it actually was. But he's not like a threat to run the ball ever. Yeah, 17 yards is what he had. But I think that some of those stunts can get home, especially if it was on the left side, and I still do think that Jared Jones-Smith is kind of the weak spot on this offensive line, so we might be able to get taken advantage of. But I like the way that Manny Wilkins is able to kind of, I don't want to say handle the pocket, but he's able to evade pressures. Sometimes to his detriment, but it kind of ends up working out because he's athletic, and I like the way that he ran last week. But like I was saying, the edge rushers taking these big looping, like they're just coming way far back, man. And I think that Manny Wilkins, hopefully he's able to step up and deliver a ball downfield on some of the like I said, the smaller defensive backs, kind of pick on them. I don't necessarily know if that's going to happen a whole lot, but I think that there will be a point in this game where you're like, that edge rusher just fucked up, and that allowed maybe like a first down on a third and long or something like that from Manny Wilkins. I did not necessarily like their gap integrity all the time, so think of it like a gap integrity being the standard like a running play. The little league, it's like, okay, a 24 blitz, the halfback is going to the 4-hole. And on defense, there's supposed to be a defender that is ideally able to kind of defend that hole. And they were just, like I said, getting shoved out of the way. They weren't able to hold those very well. So I do think that the running game will be able to work here, as long as they can take advantage of the personnel that San Antonio has on the field. Again, it's really only one guy that stood out to me. Let's see. I mentioned that. Number 28 is their nickel corner, Corey Mayfield. He did have an interception, but it was kind of because Luis Perez didn't see him at all. And just threw the ball, I don't want to say right to him. He had a pretty good interception, but I didn't like the way that his hips looked. I think that a double move, whoever's in the slot, I think probably get Ja'Cour Pearson on a double move on this guy, and Ja'Cour Pearson will run straight at him, make a move to the inside or outside. This guy will bite on that and Ja'Cour Pearson will hit that double move, go to the other way, and this guy, Ja'Cour Pearson, will have 5 yards of separation before this cat even is able to get his hips around. So I think that he's a guy that's going to be able to get picked on in the secondary as well. I believe he's a little bit of a bigger guy. Corey Mayfield, no, he's not. He's 5'10", 190. He looks infinitely bigger than Darius Phillips, though. Like that 1 inch and 2 pounds they're doing a lot for him. I was keeping track of their man, how often they were playing in man and zone. They initially started off the game doing a lot of man on third downs. But then they kind of switched maybe halfway through the second quarter and started doing a lot more zone on third downs. This is what I was going to say before. Their defense clearly went into that game thinking that San Antonio was going to just throw the absolute shit out of the ball for like a million miles. That's clearly what they thought that was going to happen. Then they ended up getting run on a whole lot. They actually allowed, let's see how many, they allowed 183 rushing yards. 77 of those came on a Kalen Ballage, the 77-yard touchdown run, which is funny, that entire thing. So on Friday, Jarvian Howard had that 74-yarder, and they're like, oh, longest touchdown run in UFL history. The league's only been around for 2 years. It's not that impressive. But he had that title for a full 18 hours before Kalen Ballage ran for 77 yards. So, I mean, yeah, 183 yards rushing, 77 came on him on one play. So what is that, 104 yards rushing from everybody else? I think that the Battlehawks will be able to run the ball on these guys. And if it doesn't work on the inside, they can always bounce it out to the right. Okay. So that's what we got there. The man and zone thing. You would typically like them to be in man, like from an offensive standpoint, you'd want them to be in man on a specifically with Manny Wilkins' skill set. I should say this specifically with what Manny Wilkins does. I would like a man. I would like a man look on a third down. That way, if in case somebody doesn't get open, you have these guys, these the linebackers and defensive backs run off a little bit. That way, Manny Wilkins, if a defender's back is turned, he's going to be able to take off and get those first downs. So specifically with the way that Manny Wilkins plays, I would like for them to kind of go back to what they were doing, where they at the beginning of that game, where they were doing man on the late downs. But I don't know, maybe that was just a scheme that they were doing against what they thought San Antonio or Arlington was going to do. Why the fuck are there 3 teams in Texas? Okay. Talked about D-line. Did I talk about the linebackers? I don't think I did. The linebackers, they bit hard on a lot of play actions, which is kind of bizarre. Like, yeah, Arlington was running the ball. I don't want to say like super efficiently or anything like that, but they were trying. They never quit the running game. But if their game plan was to stop kind of shut down Luis Perez's arm, you would think that they would be like, okay, we're gonna try to make sure that we stay disciplined on play actions, and they absolutely weren't. So if Manny Wilkins, I know that was one thing that I said in that recap was, the timing on that Hakeem Butler where Manny Wilkins didn't pull the trigger on him. I think it was kind of like a timing thing with like the really short play action, didn't really fake the ball that long, and it kind of threw the timing of the entire play off. I would like to see, that's one thing I would like to see in this game, is some of the play action to be a little bit more effective if you are going to be a run heavy team. And I think that if they saw what I saw, and I assume that they probably did, with these linebackers, they're going to be like, okay, we're going to be able to fuck them. Like, we're going to be able to make these guys be a step and a half, maybe 2 yards or so out of position, and kind of in hopefully Manny Wilkins can throw the ball over the middle of the field. I'm not entirely sure he's gonna have that kind of confidence, but if he wants to, I think that it'll be there on some play actions. Other than that, I brought up the penalties. It was crazy, man. There were so many flags. At one point, a guy face masked another guy. There were 3 flags came in. I believe that if there are 3 flags in college, you should lose a scholarship. Like if 3 refs throw a flag at you, you lose some scholarship money. In the UFL, I'm not entirely sure what you should lose if you get flagged by 3 different refs in the same play. But it'll happen. It'll happen. The special teams wise, they got that punter Brad Wing. He kicked a 69-yarder, and then later on he kicked like a 30-yard punt, and it was really pathetic and bad. I don't like him. He's got a lot of moxie, and I don't necessarily want a punter with moxie. Listen, I love a punt, but give me a dork. Give me a dork punter. This guy's got like arm sleeves and he's got like a visor on. It's like, who the fuck do you think you are there, guy? And I think his visor might actually be like a prescription thing, but still, he's wearing a dark one. Make it light, asshole. Like, what do you do? I'm not a Brad Wing guy. Also, he played for the Giants. I don't like him. And then their kickers, that destroying fellow. What's his actual name? It's like not Oscar De La Hoya. That's not it. Specialty Donald De La Haye. Destroying is the guy. He was the one that was like, oh, destroying's in the XFL or UFL. He's going to be a good kicker. And the guy's got a leg for sure. He was 1 for 2. I don't know. I'm not super impressed by him, but he's got a leg, and he's built like a brick shithouse too, which is kind of cool. Other than that, I think that's what I really got on the Brahmas. As far as what I want to see from the Battlehawks. Oh, that was one other thing I wanted to say about the Brahmas offense. If you listen to the play calls that the Battlehawks were doing, let me see if I can pull some of them up, because I mapped these out when I was doing the recop just a little bit for myself. But I got some of the play calls. Let's see. A dance to tray right, close 15. Willie was one of them. Y short to gun split right, same 15 lead. Left under center, bunch left, 19 truck. Like, I mean, they're doing that West Coast type. Is that West Coast? I think that is the West Coast type play call. There's 3 types of play calls, but that's not what the Brahmas do. They got that guy AJ Smith, real young looking cat, as their offensive coordinator. They do the real quick, like the I don't know what's something in front of me, like 12 highlighter, and that's a play call for them. Like they have names for plays, and then they can do things off of that. My point there is that if you remember in the week 10 last year, the quarterbacks, San Antonio's Quentin Dormady, I believe is who it was. The radio in his helmet went out, and he had to keep going over to the sideline, and that really fucked up their entire offense. They only scored 12 points that game. But so the play call kind of thing was trouble there. I don't think as far as getting play calls in, especially in the dome. I'm kind of relating this very inefficiently to kind of having the home field advantage. I think it'll definitely help with a team that's undisciplined, that does false starts as much as San Antonio does. But as far as getting the play calls in and that kind of comprehension and that kind of shit, I don't think it'll matter, just because their play calls are short. We saw that was kind of the same amount of noise in that XFL championship game in the playoffs. And they didn't affect them at all. But yeah, I don't know. You get what I mean by this. I think I said what I needed to say. They got short play calls, and I'm not entirely sure the home field advantage is going to affect that too much, because they're able to get them in real quick, and it's not verbose or anything like that. But yeah, no, I think that the crowd noise will definitely fuck up some false starts. I think the Battlehawks will probably get, 20 yards in false starts, if not 25. They're really dumb. The Brahmas are, that is. So that's what I wanted to say on that. Okay, as far as what I want to see from the Battlehawks, like I said, I would like to see the play actions develop a little bit more, especially with Manny Wilkins not really trusting his arm. It appears that a whole lot, being able to move the ball downfield. If that is something that this offense wants to do, if they want to continue to do the thing where you dunk it behind the line of scrimmage and let your guys make plays, I'm totally fine with that. If that's what works, then keep doing that. If that doesn't work and you need to get the ball downfield, I would like to see this being a time. This would be good practice for getting your play actions to work. I want the offensive line to, I mean, even if they're 80% as dominant as they were last week, that'd be good. I want a confirmation bias that the offensive line playing well is going to be sticky. They won. The entire offensive line was the UFL Player of the Week last week, and I would like for them to be able to kind of keep that thing going. Let's see. I would like to see I think that the defense should be able to pick on this offense. I want to see the defensive backs be the blankets that they were last week. I want to continue to see that. I want them to be playing downhill and I don't think that what did I say? McFarland, what's his name? Anthony McFarland. I think that he's gonna probably end up breaking something because if they keep hammering him in the running game, I think I mean, they're gonna have to because there's only two guys now. I think if they keep hammering him, he'll end up getting I think he'll end up getting a good chunk, but I'd like to see that be limited. I don't know. I gotta think that I don't. It just you can't. I don't think that the Brahmas are going to lose by fucking 20 points again. I don't think that the Battlehawks are going to win by 20 points again. I mean, this team is much better than that Houston team was. The Brahmas are much better than that Houston team was. What is the over-under on this game? If I could pull that up real quick. I should have pulled that up already. Is that going to be on ESPN? I hope it is. If it's not on ESPN, this is going to be a kick in the dick. Scores. Let's see. Battlehawks are 7.5-point favorites over the Brahmas. Over/under is 39.5. I gotta think that the Battlehawks aren't going to do as good as they did last week, and I gotta think that the Brahmas are going to be better than they were last week. I'm once again, I'm gonna say 7.5 points is a lot of points, especially in a game where you can get I don't say average 8 points, but you can get 9 points off of a touchdown. I like to think that the Battlehawks don't cover this game, but I do think that it will hit the over. I think. Let's see. So let's come up with a creative. Let's come up with a creative prediction right here. Let's say, okay, so 8-16 would be 2 touchdowns, 2 2-point conversions. Let's say Battlehawks 20. Let's say 16 plus 6. That's just 24. Let's say 16 plus 7. Let's give it a weird number. Battlehawks 25. Battlehawks 25. Brahmas 20. Right? Okay, so let's say that would be, they'll probably try to kick 2 field goals, I imagine, so that would be 6 points. So we're looking at 14. Let's say 25, Battlehawks 25-20. Battlehawks win 25-20. Game goes over. Battlehawks do not cover. Brahmas get 2 field goals, 2 touchdowns. They go for a 2-point conversion on one and don't convert on the second one. That's my take. That's where we're at. I think that the Battlehawks will be in the lead for the most part of this game. I think that maybe that Brahmas, the second touchdown that they get, will be garbage time. I think that for the most part of this game, the Battlehawks are going to be in control. I think that halfway through the fourth quarter, the Battlehawks are going to have a lead somewhere around 25-14. It'll be a handed lead. So yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. I think it'll be a good game. That's the bird's eye preview. In and out in less than 40 minutes. There we go, baby. Okay, sweet. That's all I got. That game's at 5:30. Depending on when it is, maybe I'll be back with you guys on Sunday night. I was back with you on Friday night after that game. But I'm also going to tailgate a little bit beforehand because I think the weather's supposed to be nice. I'll be back with you guys on Sunday night. On Sunday night. I'll be back on Sunday night with a rehauction. I'll be back on Sunday night with a rehauction about the game. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, and then I will be back with you guys later on in the week with another recop. But yeah, go Birds, go Battlehawks, go Ironbirds, could cause the law, whatever you say. If you say something in public, people are going to translate that to be like, oh, that guy likes the Battlehawks. Like I was at the grocery store today. It's like right across the street from my neighbor. It's a 90-second drive, so I go there a lot. But I was there, and there's like you walk in front of Schnucks. Like I come in on like the left door, and then you're supposed to go the traditional, the societal norm is that you go in, and then the first thing that you do is you go to the right to the produce. That's how it works. Unless you're going to the left, you go to the right. But then I got stuck behind two old bags, or just fucking walking. They just taking up, going too wide, except they were going about 3 people wide. And I couldn't get past them, and all of a sudden, a guy turns around, and is like, "Oh, you get through," and it's like, and I didn't say anything, and I gave him a death stare, but I know that he heard me dog cussing him in his mind, and obviously what he translated that to was, oh, he likes the Battlehawks. That's what it is. So yeah, I guess even if you don't say something to somebody and you just give them a stink eye, they're probably going to take that the right way. But yeah, all right, I'll talk to you guys later.